I have spent around 2,000 hours analyzing Threads posts. And recently, I've discovered that every single post has these three special elements. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. They're everywhere. And this framework will help you level up your Threads content forever. In today's class, I'm going to introduce why this framework, and it's called the hook, hold, help framework, why it matters. Then we're going to do a deep dive into the three core elements of it. So one element is hook, hold, and help. We'll go through some examples to show you how you can apply that framework in both short form posts and long form posts. And then we'll go through implementation. What are some practical steps that we can take to integrate this framework into our content to make it not only easier, but also more effective? How does that sound? Sweet. This is our framework. It is the hook, hold, help. Firstly, we're going to go into what it is and why it matters. This framework, it simplifies this process of creating great content because it just focuses on three parts. And as I was saying in our intro part here, every piece of content that we create has these three parts. It's just a matter of how long each part is in the content that you're creating. And we'll look at examples later. The hook grabs attention. So if you're new to Saints College, you can just search in the search bar in our community, hook book. And then I think it's the third highest post. It will show you a massive post with 350 or so viral hooks. And these are posts that have done really well because we've determined that the hook is really good. The hook grabs attention. The next element of this framework, the hook, hold, help framework, is the hold. This is essentially just keeping the engagement. In a short form post, this is much easier to do because it's a short post. You don't need to hold someone's attention for very long. This is why long form posts are a bit of an art because they're longer. If you can hold someone's attention in the meat of the post where you're going into the insights and delving into the value, that is where the real skill is. Because nowadays, as many of us know, most people's attention span is shit and they'll just keep scrolling if you can't hold their attention. So that's why we call this second part of the framework the hold. I'm really big on alliteration and memory devices because if you can't remember it and if it's not catchy, it's harder to apply. I wanted to come up with something, another H word that really worked as a way to describe how we can end any post, whether short form or long form. And I think it's in line with the values of our community that the last one should be help. So the help is in a short form post, it's the final sentence where you leave a lasting impression. We'll go through examples shortly. In a long form post, it's where you're really inspiring action and you're helping someone take action and you're helping someone by giving them a thing to, well, giving them something of value. And really, this is a CTA in a long form post. Again, we'll go through examples because I know this might sound a bit abstract at the moment. As I was saying, like why this is important, why I think it's what I use in every single post that I create. And I've been doing this more directly and intentionally over the past few months. And Threads growth is still ticking along quite comfortably. So obviously, it will just simplify the content creation process because instead of thinking, I just need to post today, you can think, okay, I'm going to go post today. And then I need to think about these three elements, the hook, the hold, and the help. And to me, having those boundaries to work within, it helps a lot. And then also, because you do, this is fundamentally the building block of any piece of content, not just on Threads, but anywhere. Reels, shorts, TikToks, YouTube longs, dare I say, posts on X, God forbid, LinkedIn posts, whatever it might be. So that's why I'm sure many of us know writing on Threads is just so powerful and high leverage because the skills we learn through writing apply across the board in any platform and for any content. So the tagline that I would like you to remember, and honestly, this is the one thing that I want you to take away from today because I think it's catchy. And if you can remember it, you'll bear it in mind as you go and post on Threads. And it's this tagline here: hook their attention, hold their attention, help them grow. Hook their attention, hold their attention, help them grow. Hook their attention, hold their attention, help them grow. Remember that. I'll repeat it a few times. And the key analogy, yes, love it, Venus. Hook, hold, and help, right? It's catchy. I hope I'm not the only one who thinks that. The key analogy here, because we're just going to go with what works, and the hook analogy in the context of fishing already works. Yeah, the 3H framework, I did think about that. The hook help, the hook hold help framework, the 3H framework, either one works. Thanks, Tatiana. So, yeah, the key analogy is the hook hold help is like fishing. The hook obviously catches attention, and that's, look, in the context of fishing, it's bait, but obviously our content isn't bait, right? Then the hold keeps them interested, and this is reeling the fish in on the line. And then the help delivers value, and this is the catch and release of fishing. And I'll go into what that means later on, but that's just our overview of what the hook, hold, help framework is. Before we go into a deep dive of each of the three core elements, any questions at this point? And if you speak up, I'll just be able to hear you, obviously. But if there's anyone who says something in the chat, Yaz, if you wouldn't mind just letting me know so I don't miss that, because I can't see it on my screen. And in the community, we have a strictly no such thing as a stupid question policy. So if you're thinking about something, guarantee you that someone else is as well. Okay, we'll move on. So that's our intro. Now into a deep dive. So we've already established what these three elements are: hook, hold, help. Let's just go into a bit more depth about each one. So as we've already established, the hook is where we cast the line. And our purpose of the hook is to just capture attention instantly. If you can learn one thing and one thing only in Saints College, it's that take how important you think the hook is now and then times that importance by 1,000, and you still don't understand how important the hook is. In short, you can create a great hook by using bold, curiosity-piquing statements, by challenging a common belief or assumption, and by leveraging relatability or emotional resonance. So we've got some examples of this, but for instance, just off the top of my head, like with the challenge common beliefs or assumptions, one hook that I used a few weeks ago, and I'm actually going to be using today at some point, is, how many words is it? 4 words. And it went mega viral on Twitter, not my own post, but I saw it on Twitter and then we did it on Threads. Angelica, welcome to college class. And that hook is, you've been lied to. And Captain Yaz and Captain Leisha have used this one before. I've used it. And I wrote this about porn. So the hook was, you've been lied to. And then the following sentence was, porn isn't harmless entertainment. You see how that hook, you've been lied to, it challenges this common belief or assumption. And it makes you think, what have I been lied to about? And it gets you to continue reading because it captures attention instantly. It hooks the fish. So examples, stop blaming your lack of your progress on motivation. It's overrated. So that's challenging a common belief, or you could even say it's just a bold and curiosity-piquing statement. This one, I wasted half my 20s starting over until I found this one thing that worked. That's obviously piquing curiosity, and it's also leveraging relatability, because I'm sure there are lots of people who feel like they wasted their 20s, but this is just using emotive language through the word wasted. But as we've already been talking about, it's just what makes people stop scrolling. And there are proven frameworks for this. So I urge you again to go and check the hook book in Saints College, because we've spent 4 to 5 months now building that thing out. And it's just a compilation of some of the best posts that we've seen. It's extremely valuable. Highly recommend you go and check it out. And why this works, people love surprises, bold statements, or things that they identify with, in short. So that is our hook. We've had some previous college classes about hooks. In fact, there is an entire college class from a few weeks ago just about what makes great hooks. This is just a little overview. So we'll move on to the second element of the hook, hold, help framework. And that is the next one is the hold. So this is where we reel them in. And the purpose of it is just to keep people engaged by delivering value. Now, once, as I was saying earlier, if you can't hold their attention, they're going to keep scrolling. And honestly, it does not take much at all to lose their attention. Like, as I was saying, this is why writing long form posts it can be quite hard to do it really well because the more you can hold attention, in theory, the more successful you will be as a creator. And then that has huge downstream effects in terms of what we can do with our online businesses because the more attention we can hold, the more we can establish trust and authority. And then you can probably see how that just works in our favor as we try and offer more value further into our funnel. We want to break insights down into clear, digestible steps. So this is getting to an aside, which we'll talk about at another point in time in SC. But for keeping like reeling them in, remember this is like on the fishing line, you're reeling in the fishing line and the fish is on the hook. And basically imagine that the fish is a reader and they're like wiggling around, right? And they're on the hook and part of them is really tempted to just keep wiggling so much that they escape into the sea and the ocean of all these other distractions. But our job here in the hold is to make sure that they don't wiggle too much. And we do that by giving them as much value as possible in the meat part of our post, whether that is a short form post or a long form post. So, examples, and we'll look through more practical examples like actual posts, I think in the next section, but just examples to give you a quick example is motivation is fleeting. Systems are permanent. Build systems today and you'll stop needing motivation tomorrow. So maybe that could be the hold part of a short form post. And you could format it so it's nice and crunchy. Crunchy is in like nicely formatted and easy to read and skim through in a social media platform environment. Here's one that you would see in a long form post. So step one would be stop waiting for motivation. This is a bit of a contrarian take and it's quite like assertive. So this would draw and hold attention because it makes you think, oh, I was waiting for motivation. And then it gets you to go and read what's in then like beneath this post. And then this would be step two, reframe failure as feedback. And that would be a separate mini post. And again, this is a bit novel and not everyone understands this stuff. So you're holding their attention in this case and you're reeling them in through the novelty of the information. As we already know, this is where you keep the audience engaged. And once they're interested, you got to really retain that as best you can up to a certain point. This is so important because readers that stay with you will then be interested to come and join whatever you're offering them next, whether that is a free community like Saints College, a newsletter to grab one of your lead magnets, buy your digital product, whatever it might be. If you can't hold their attention in long form posts, especially, they're not even going to make it to the CTA at the bottom where you're asking them to come and grab your lead magnet. So obviously, this part of the framework is critical. And it's all got its own challenges, but because if you do this well, you will absolutely thrive on threads. There's a lot of payoff to making this work. And as we've got here, this phase builds trust and connection, just like reeling in a fish with the right amount of tension. And remember, if you pull too hard, if you like the fishing rope and you like yank it up, they're going to fly off the hook and they're going to swim back into the ocean or they're going to keep scrolling on threads. But if you pull too soft, then the fish is on board now. Am I ever going to make it to the top of this fishing line? And they're just going to be like, no, fuck this. I'm just going to wiggle my way off this hook and go look for something else in the ocean. I've been blabbing on a lot so far. Before we go into the final element of the hook, hold, help framework, how are we finding this so far? A couple reactions just to know that Tatiana, you already know me too well. You are on the money there. I am 100% not the fishing type, and I did want to use a different
I know.
analogy, but
No, it's
I
a good
thought
analogy, you know?
it, I put my own pride aside here, even though I wanted to use a different analogy. I thought that the fishing analogy just made the most sense naturally, so I just went with it. But I'm not the fishing type. I'm doing online business for a reason.
Yeah, I know. I just don't think that releasing the fish is actually helping them because you already captured them. But I
Yes,
mean,
well,
I
we'll
feel
talk
sorry
about
for them.
what this means in terms of how it helps
Yeah,
in the
no, it's a
next,
good
we're
analogy.
about to
Yeah.
get into that one. But yeah, any questions about the hook and hold at this point before we get into the final element?
If you think about the progress of a long form, a super thread, right? I don't know how you call that, but it's like is there like at the beginning you're hooking them, but you also holding the attention at the same time? I know the hook, right? You're hooking them, but when do you when you keep the attention, is like the next threads in the
Mm,
middle of the post?
we'll be getting to that with some post templates as promised in the post in SC about an hour ago, and also some actual posts on threads to illustrate, to use as examples for the hook, hold, help framework. I think we'll be addressing that in a moment.
Cool. All right.
Okay, we hook them, we hold them, and now we help them. So the purpose of the help section, the last element of our content framework, is that we're ending with impact and inspiring action, providing clarity. So this is how we can leave a lasting impression. Remember that this applies to everything we're looking at now, applies to short form and long form posts. So here, summarize key takeaways. This is what we do in a long form post. Provide a clear call to action or even two call to actions. This is what we'd also do in a long form post. Or we can or leave an inspiring or motivational thought. And this is really what happens in a short form post. Once again, it'll make more sense with the examples. And I'm actually not going to go through these because the best examples are the ones that are already on threads. Essentially, the help is our final step, and it's where you deliver on some sort of promise. And here's where the fishing analogy comes back in: the audience with a key takeaway, insight, and action that leaves them better off than before. So, the way I imagine this is that you've got them on the hook, firstly, you've captured their attention, then you're reeling them up and you're holding them. And then what we're doing is once we get them, so we're on a boat and we're the fisherman or the fisherwoman or the fisher person, and you reel them all the way up and hold them. Then once they get to the top, you've got this little, I don't know, maybe more bait. I don't know what it is. You give them something. It's like a little piece of food or whatever. And that little piece of food represents one of these three things. It's like either an inspiring or motivational thought to end with, it's a key takeaway or key takeaways, or it's a call to action. And this little piece of food represents one of these three things. And once we give them that, then what we do, yeah, it's a reward. Exactly. And this is, once we give them that, that's it. That represents our help. Like that's us helping them with a final thought, some key takeaways, or something in our CTA that we believe will be helping them along in their journey that we like to help people with. Once we actually give them that little piece of food, then we release them off the line and they're free to go and swim in the ocean again. But this time they've got more direction, either through leaving them with a final motivational thought or with the CTA that we've included that's framed as us helping them. Again, the examples will be good, but that's the way I've conceptualized this. You reel them up, you help them with one of these three things, and then you let them go and take action somewhere or inspire them to do something differently now. And that's really the purpose of our content. It's educational and not entertainment. It's to change the reader's behavior. And we can do that by leaving a lasting impression. We can do that by helping them. It's where you deliver on your promise, you release the fish with one of those three things. And it works because I'm sure you probably heard this before, but people don't remember what, oh, actually, I'm going to butcher this quote, but people don't remember what you say, people remember how you make them feel. And that's where we can leave a lasting impact with the help part of the hook, hold, help framework. And a strong help creates a sense of resolution, inspiration, or direction. And if you do it well, it makes them more likely to engage with you again. That is our deep dive on the hook, hold, help framework. We're going to go into examples at this juncture. Any questions about that so far? Tatiana's got some love hearts. Love it. Alex, welcome. Great to have you here. Thank you, Venus. Appreciate you. All right, examples. This is where it should all start to really click. And yeah, I'm actually just going to go through some actual long form post examples and short form, because these examples are good, but I think it's more helpful to see the posts actually posted on threads to help you connect the dots. A few thumbs up reactions if you think that would be more helpful. Cool. Alex got a hand raise, or was that an accidental thumbs up? Disappeared. Okay. Anyway, back to it. Just bear with me because I'm going to get some posts to bring over and embed into. Oh, actually, I'm going to now switch the screen because it's only sharing on Notion. Give me a moment. Present something else. Threads. Okay, cool. Welcome back, Alex. We're on Threads now, and let's take a look what we've got here. So this is a post from a couple or a day ago, and what I want to show you now is essentially this is our hook. I trained through ChatGPT for 8 months on the best viral posts I've ever seen after 2,000 hours on Threads, 420 top performing posts, 11K followers gained from 2,000 posts, 5 Threads GPT prompts that feel illegal to know. This is my bait into the ocean of Threads users. And if this did the job properly, it's hooked a bunch of them. And I guess in this case, maybe 6,400 people onto the reel. And that's me in the hook of a long form post. Or to put it differently, the hook is just the top post in a long form post. Everyone clear on that part so far? That's really important. And I won't go into the rest of it unless we're all clear on that. Thumbs up. We're all good there. Love it. Okay. That's our hook. Now it's time to hold their attention or hold them on the line as we're reeling the line up on our boat, because I know everything about fishing. And the next part about this is essentially everything in the hold is like the body of our long form post. So in the context of this specific example, everything I'm about to mention is the hold. This mini post here, instant hook generator. This mini post here, transformative rewrite. This mini post here, skimmable post to go viral. This mini post, master emotional storytelling. This mini post, engagement amplifier. And that's where the hold ends, right? So at this point, I like to, you can look at how well you've held the fish on the line, so to speak, by one of two ways. The amount of likes that each mini post gets, the amount of views each mini post gets. The first one here, this got 1,000 views. And then if I've done my job well and held the fish on the line, this won't be a massive drop in views. There will be a drop, but not a massive drop. I'd say that's probably about right, to be honest, about half. And that's like, I'm not an expert at this. Even though I've done it so many times, I'm still getting like half of the people not making it to the end. So this can tell me in the future that maybe there's something here that lost people. And we can also see that based on the likes. So I always front load value in the holds by putting the best stuff at the top, because if the first thing in the hold is not that great, then what makes someone think that the next thing will be amazing? I did that with the hook generator because I knew that would just be the best. Yes, Tatiana.
Just a question, I just lost you for a second. How do you know, like, how many views you had in the second and third, and can you analyze them, like,
Mm.
individually?
Yeah.
How do you know
So,
you lost 50% of them?
oh, okay. So what I did here, I've clicked on so I go to my profile, go to the post that I want to take a look at, and it's this one. And I click on the top one, and then it just shows me the view count here for the hook. My hook
Okay.
in this post got 6,400 views. Now, if I want to see how many views that the first mini post in the hold section got, I'll just click on that section. And you
Ah,
see
okay,
how it
got it.
goes to 1K? Yeah.
1,000 view. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And
Yeah, because
now
I
I'll just
haven't
do the
seen that
same
before.
thing.
All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
There
then you
you
can
go.
analyze it. Yeah, I'm assuming that as far as you go, right, on the polls, you're losing more people, right?
Exactly. In
Uh-huh.
theory, that will happen
Maybe sometimes
99.9% of the
people
time.
skipped one or two, I don't know, and go to the next one.
Look,
I don't know. Might be.
yeah, we can have a
Yeah.
look, but there
Mm-hmm.
tends to be a pretty steady drop. And
Mm-hmm.
this happens for Mr. Beast. Every single creator in the world, regardless of whether you're the best, you'll see a pretty steady drop and like a deep drop from the top of the post or the video towards the end. That's just how it
Got it.
works.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the next one, 875. So this is actually pretty
Mm.
interesting. The third one, 748. The fourth one, and 19. And then the last one, 535. So
Yeah.
we go
Mm-hmm.
from
Yeah,
the
makes
first
sense.
one, yeah, we go from the first one in the hold to the last one. And that jump is like a 50% reduction. And you think, oh shit. But then when you look at the decrease from each mini post in the hold, it's pretty steady. So it's not like there was one post that just killed the attention and lost all the fish off the line. It was a pretty steady reduction from having 6,500 fish on the hook here to then like 1/6 of those here. And then it's just a gradual reduction from thereafter. So that's generally how it works. But hopefully you find that interesting just to know what you can expect when you're really trying to hold the attention in this section of a long form post. Any questions about this part before we look at the help section of this post as an example? Cool. Sam's got a thumbs up. Love it. Venus. All right. Sweet. Okay. Now, this is the help. Angela, appreciate you. And so this won't be the clearest example. And this is maybe a bit more of a like 201 for the help. So again, please, you got to ask questions because I don't know if you're not fully getting something unless you just let me know. So this is technically now transitioning into the help part. And remember, this is where we've got the fish at the top of our line and we're giving them some little piece of food equals some sort of help that the fish can go and take when we release them off the line and go back into the sea. Okay, so what the fuck does that mean? So the help part for me is I've actually seamlessly integrated my example of so let me explain. This is a post about using ChatGPT prompts to elevate your threads content. And the last example that I use is this prompt. Generate 2 CTAs for this post, make one actionable, so join a newsletter or community, and the second, optimize for gaining followers. So this is where I give examples of doing both of these things, and both of these examples are actually CTAs for me. Hopefully that you're getting what I'm saying here. So in that sense, people have been expecting examples in each mini post of the hold so far. So when I go into examples here, it's almost like they're not expecting me to start pitching them. But that's what I do. But again, look at how I word this to frame it not as a promotion, like, oh, look at me, come and grab my shit because I'm so good. I'm not trying to focus on me. I'm trying to help people who are reading this post by giving them things. That's why the last element is called the help, because you need to have that frame of reference in mind to make your CTAs as effective as humanly possible. Don't promote on threads, help your friends. Think about that and how that applies to this example. I got you a Threadmas present. Because you made it to the end, I give you the hook book of 420 viral posts Threads GPT was trained on, 100% free. Sound good? Grab it below. Serious friends only. Weirdly enough, the view count on this one was 534, And then this one was 486. So my help post here, the one we've just read out, it had the lowest decline of views from any other, like in percentage wise. So we had about a 20% reduction in most of these, but this one only had about a 10% reduction in views from this post to this post because it was seamlessly integrated. Again, this is the 201. I'll go into the next example mini post of a help, and it's here. Yeah, all good, Tatiana. No worries. Family first. Thanks for coming along. So the final example of a help mini section in this post is here. So thanks for reading this post. Follow me for more prompts and strategies to 10x your threads growth. And then here I'm just getting a bit cheeky. Worst case scenario, you'll only 2x your growth. But again, notice the difference between me just saying, thanks for reading this post, follow me. That's me just promoting myself. And like, why should anyone do that? What's the benefit they're going to gain? Versus what I actually wrote, which is if you follow me, you'll get more prompts and strategies to 10x your growth. And that's me framing this CTA as helping the reader. That's the paradigm shift there. And that's why these last two mini posts are examples of the help element in our hook, hold, help framework. That's our first example. We'll go through a short form one, and then I'll look at some post templates because that's my present for those of you on the call. So any questions about this example before we move on to a short form one though? Yes, Angela.
Sorry, my kids are watching Paw Patrol at school. I had to move away.
That's not good.
I really like it. I really like the idea of helping people. How do you we'll probably get to this eventually, but like how do you contextualize these ideas?
As in, like, how do you like?
Because you're thinking of the structure and then for my case, it's okay, how can I help? Do you start backwards and be like, okay, how can I help people? My people want to grow on threads, so how can I help them? And you
Yeah.
find certain ways to help and then go backwards that way.
Yeah. Okay. Great question. Honestly, Angela, I always start from a position of I know and absolutely nothing, and I'm just going to throw a lot of shit at the wall and see what sticks. I wish
That
I
makes me
could
feel
give you.
better.
Yeah, I wish I could give you a better answer, but I'm not. I don't have some like natural talent at this. I've just done it for a long time. You might have seen in the chat, it might have been just before you joined, but Sam, who's on the call now, like he's got an AI account and he's almost at 10K followers after 8 weeks or something like that.
Oh,
And
wow.
I've done this, I've posted like 3 times a day. Like you see the stats here. Like I've done all of this stuff
Mhm.
over 17 months and I've crossed 11K recently. And it's not a race or like a competition at all, but I'm saying that I like had to brute force like my way through this growth thing just by doing a lot of tests and seeing what works. So after this post, even though the like vanity metrics here, like I've had ones that do much better, like my pinned post, for instance.
Mhm.
Obviously, it's like because it's a pinned post, it's been visible to more people for longer. But I've had long form posts that get more engagement like this. But as Yaz knows, because Yaz was accepting all these new members in the community over the last 24 hours, this is where the bigger picture is really important, slightly outside the scope of this lesson, but just quickly 130 likes, good amount of saves, and a few reposts. So you see that, yeah, it's a pretty good post, good amount of views. But this post generated, so a quarter of the people who liked this post went
Mhm.
and joined, applied to join the community. And for anyone who knows a bit about digital marketing, a like 25% conversion rate from what I like to use from likes to actual signups. You can use
Mhm.
views if you want, but I like likes. Is really good. And to put it
Yeah.
into context, Angela, one of like my best long form post, and I just think about the conversions because that's what matters to me. I can help people more in the community than on threads. Is that is about maybe 70 signups in about 2 days from one post. And because this one got 30, that's really good. Like it's up there. And that's what I mean. It's
Yeah.
just experimenting. And then Yaz and I were talking in Telegram after seeing all of these people apply to join St. College after reading this post. And we're just talking about how it might be a good thing to start doing more of this, right? Because we've seen that it works. So do what works.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. So I know it's not the most useful answer, but honestly, it's just the one, it's my truth. And I think having that mindset of just never stop testing and always being open to trying new things is just going to put you in great stead to succeed on Threads.
I appreciate the honesty. Thank you.
No, no worries. Yeah, and Sam, you're being very modest there. You're saying something about how I can't remember the specific wording, but maybe being easier for faceless accounts. Look, I don't know. You would know better than me, but nonetheless, don't dismiss the compliment because it's an insane achievement. Okay, so I'll go through quickly just what the hook, hold, help framework looks like in a short form post, and then I'll go through some post templates, and that can be my belated Christmas present for y'all. So here is I'll go through a few examples here and just go through them rapid fire because it's much quicker. So the hook is you don't free your mind to write. The hold is you write to free your mind. And the help is start today. Now, clarifying the help part, I'm helping them, just giving them a little nugget of food by inspiring them to take action. I'm motivating them to take action. That's how the help part is related or like relates to a short form post. Another example, a bit of a longer short form post. I froze. That's the hook. Why did I freeze? Everything here is the hold. I want to hold attention here and basically keep this open story loop so that people don't feel, or rather, that people feel like they need to keep reading to get closure. They don't get closure too early. I read everything you post. That's what a friend told me on a call today. For years, I felt invisible, like no one was listening. Turns out someone is always there, quietly watching, quietly resonating. Reminder, post your work. And then here is the help. Even when it feels like no one's watching, your people are waiting. So this is helping by reminding people that your people are there. That's another example. One more short form example. Look at this one. So the hook is the brutal truth about building a personal brand. The hold is people follow you, not your niche. Be consistent, not perfect. Speak to one person, not everyone. Share your quirks, not just your wins. And then the help is show up as yourself. It's more than enough. It's inspiring people that who you are today is perfect. That's the only sort of perfect that you need because it's just you. So those are some short form examples. And as promised, some post templates. This implementation stuff, actually, I'll give you this link so you can have a read of that yourself because where's the link? Oh, I realize I'm not showing the screen. Whoopsie. Okay, publish link. So I'll put the link in the chat and all right. And please just give me 1 minute because I had a call. I do have a call with someone on the hour, but I'm just going to see if he's okay to give me a couple more minutes because I do want to try to finish this off. Okay. So where were we? We're looking at, make sure I'm sharing my screen properly. There we go. Present something else. So we've got this and we were just looking at those examples. So grab that link in the Google Meet chat because we'll be making this available later on in the week, but because you're all here now, you can just have access to it now. The implementation stuff, essentially, you just want to reverse engineer, or rather, when you're scrolling through the feed, think about where the hook is, where the hold is, and where the help is. And the more you start to identify these three elements of every piece of content in other people's posts, the easier it will be for you to then incorporate each element in your own posts. Because again, every single piece of content has these three. And that's why I believe it's such a powerful framework, because it applies across the board. And it's also their verbs, right? These are doing words. You have to think about each word implies you need to do this thing. You need to hook them, you need to hold them, you need to help them. And then create content with the framework, test and iterate, as I was telling Angela. And then as you get better and see what works, you double down on what works. So in terms of these post templates, I'm just going to share the link in the chat. So again, or rather, I'm going to put the link to the Notion page with post templates in the Notion page. And what am I trying to say? My brain's hurting. So, and make sure you grab the link to the page that's in the chat now, because I'm going to put a bunch of post templates in that Notion page. Thank you, Venus. Yeah, we got there eventually. All right. Anyone link can view. All right, cool. So it is, just going to put it here. Just for context, like you might be thinking, what is day 29? This is one day. We recently ran a paid cohort. Part of the cohort was it was a 30-day cohort, and it was 30 days of viral post templates with 3 viral templates per day. And this is one of those days. So these, for context, like these were posts that we trained Thread GPT on, and each template has, like it's proven. So it's got examples here. Click on the example, and you can see that these posts minimum have gotten at least like 100 likes, and then anywhere upwards from that there. Yeah, they are good. Yaz, Leisha, and I, and a bunch of others have used them. If you want to become consistent on threads, using post templates like this is the easiest and quickest way to learn what works and then to like follow that habit. Here's my example. Here's some other examples. As you can see, like these templates work because they've been used multiple times by other people and the results are there. Essentially, here's a template for a listicle. And as you can see, here's our little, our key. So the hook is always going to be in yellow. The hold is always going to be in red, and the help is always going to be in blue. So yellow is the hook, red, hold, blue, help, and so on and so forth. And in this post template page, you've got 3 of those. And this is just to give you an idea about like how you can start deconstructing content to see the frameworks that have come up again and again. And I love these because they're a lot of fun. Yeah, oh, I'm so glad this helps, Venus. They just help so much. And as an aside, we are actually we're creating, which is pretty insane. We're creating an entire year's content calendar with post templates like this for our upcoming paid community, Full Circle. And it will also involve access to Threads GPT. So you can then essentially copy and paste this prompt, copy and paste the template, and then copy and paste these post notes, which give the nuance behind each post. And you give that to Threads GPT, and it will give you posts that are relevant to like your niche and your topics. And then you can just tweak them to make them like optimized or more personalized. So here's the jaw dropping moment. If you look at any of my posts from the last 2 months, that's how I made them, except for the stuff like this that are random. So that's really exciting. And we'll be sharing more about Full Circle, our paid community, and we're doing founding members discounts and stuff over from tomorrow onwards. So stay tuned for that. We've got a really exciting launch strategy for that. And honestly, I can't tell you enough just how excited I am to get this out into the world, because I've wanted to be able to do something like this for a year now, but I wanted to make Saints College the best free thing possible first. That's that. Use those post templates and just see what happens, because as I said, like they're proven, and you just got to put your own unique spin on them. And with enough practice, like I promise you, they will work for you. So with that, Sam, if you wouldn't mind, if you've just wouldn't mind just giving us a quick 2-minute spiel about what you've recently achieved on Threads and just what you did to make this milestone happen, I'd be very grateful.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I haven't done much different from what you're saying to everyone. I've been following the exact same thing that you've been saying from the day one. Like when I was joining Saints College, I had 17 followers, and I've been posting for 2 weeks without just single engagement. And the first thing I did when I joined SE was optimizing my bio and my profile picture and the pin post according to your instructions. Since then, I've been trying things. I'll give you a few tips because we don't have much time. These are things that you haven't mentioned, or maybe not in detail as much. The time zones that you post, the times that you post really matters. I would say in my time, so I'm in GMT 5:30. So for me, 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 a.m. And 9 o'clock at night, and 4 o'clock in the day. So those 3 times are the best times for me to post. Like every post that I post now get 200 and above likes. And especially the between 9 at night to 11 is the best time to post, in my opinion, because I'm not just saying I tried it on one account. I have now 4 faceless accounts, and all of them have more than 1,000 followers, and I'm posting on the same time. And touch on something now you just mentioned, the post that you showed us. Before you showing it, I tried it yesterday, and I gained 3,000 followers from one post on one of my faceless. That's how much it works. What you just taught us today, that's how much it works.
As I said, the
I
student has become the master because
I
mine
try
didn't
to
get
break down
3,000.
everything that I see and learn
Yeah.
something from it. And I just came out with it, and it worked. I was like, yeah, this is what you just got to. So definitely, all I have to ask everyone is just follow everything to the letter what Lenny just been saying, and like from the beginning. That's all you need. Nothing more, nothing less.
Sam, I promise. Can you please tell everyone that I didn't pay you to say that? But honestly, I'm just going to double click on this, and then we'll wrap this college class up. Sam started with 17 followers, like what, 8 weeks ago?
8 weeks, yeah.
8 weeks ago. These numbers don't lie.